Hi guys, welcome to Japan by Food. I'm your host, Shizuka Anderson. Today I'll be exploring Sunamachi Ginza, which is a 670-meter long shopping street filled with mom and pop shops that sell sweets, teas, miso, Japanese pickles, all kinds of other goodies. This kind of area is actually known as a Shitamachi, which is literally translates to downtown, but it's quite the opposite of your image of a downtown. It's actually rather old and a little bit grungy looking, but it's definitely a hidden gem. So let's go see what Japanese Shitamachi has to offer. So now I am actually in the Sunamachi street. It has a very nostalgic atmosphere. It definitely feels very old. And what is this? Oh, Tempura Shop. Let's see what they have. They've got so many different kinds. They've got some traditional Japanese side dishes on display here. They've got some pumpkin, stewed pumpkin, and of course, tempura up on top. Maybe we'll try the Kakiage, which is kind of a mixed tempura with different veggies and things in there. They said that's quite popular and they're frying it right now. So I'm gonna hold on and wait for that. So I decided to get their famous Kakiage, which is a mixed tempura. Apparently it's quite popular whenever non-Japanese travelers come visit here, which I don't think is very often, but they said that they recommend that, so I'm gonna try it. And they're very kind and they're gonna serve it on a plate for me to try with a little bit of sauce and some tea. So let's go with that. It's a freshly fried Kakiage tempura. Let's give it a try. Okay, it looks like we've got shrimp, onions, shiso. That looks amazing. I'm gonna dig in. Itadakimasu. It's so good. Freshly fried, so it's really steamy and hot as you take a bite. The shrimp is super juicy and the onions are really nice and crunchy. And of course the sauce is nice and salty. It gives it a lot of flavor. Fantastic. Well, that was absolutely delicious. And I also discovered that this particular shop also has a restaurant. So it's not just takeout tempura, they have amazing tempura dishes. Most famously, they have a tendon, which is a rice bowl with tempura on top. With that tempura on rice, I think it would be fantastic. So I've got to come back here again sometime. Yeah, amazing service. And the shop staff are super friendly. So if you ever come here, totally recommend. Ooh, this is an interesting old shop. This is really cute. They've got an old school sign with some tea pouring. I like that. It seems that they've got a lot of traditional Japanese sweets as well. We've got something here called Amanatto, which is basically various Japanese beans that have been cooked in sugar, so they're like a sweet dessert. The Japanese sweet potatoes that have also been cooked in sugar. This is another traditional dessert, and these are super delicious. I totally recommend these if you ever have a chance. There's a whole bunch of different ones, but this looks like they've got all the kinds in one package. And I'm seeing something here that I've never actually had before. I thought this was a warabi mochi at first, but it's not. This is called Gokabo, which apparently is a very old school Japanese dessert. And it's not mochi, but it's filled with rice on the inside, and it's covered in roasted soybean powder called kinako. I think this will be really delicious. I've never had it before, so I'm gonna give this a try. All right, I've got my goodies. This is definitely not something that you should normally eat on the street, but actually I just talked to the lady at the shop, and it turns out that everywhere is closed today because it's a Wednesday. So if you'd like to visit, don't visit on a Wednesday. But since things are quite empty today, I'm going to dig in and give this a try. Let's give it a try. This is gonna be a messy bite. Itadakimasu. Interesting. First impression, my mouth is glued shut, but looks like this. You can enjoy the kineko flavor a little more, but honestly, the first bite, it's all powder. Like it's just like you're eating a tablespoon of like cinnamon or something. I thought the rice was gonna be kind of mochi-like and soft and chewy. It's chewy, it's glutinous, but it's also a little dry, like puffed rice. Now it's time to try the Amanatto. So let's give this a try. That's good. It's really soft. Feels like they've been cooking it or stewing it in sugar for hours. I'm gonna try this one too. You get a little bit of the bean flavor. Like it does taste like you're eating a bean, but it's soft, kind of melts in your mouth, and it's sweet. This is a giant bean. I'm going to assume that this is a soramame kana. Let's give this one a try. Also very soft, but much firmer. All I can say is it's beany, but sweet. Beany sweet. I just found a shop that sells Japanese pickles that are handmade. It says tezukuri no sozai, so it's all handmade Japanese food. And they use traditional methods of pickling by keeping the vegetables and whatnot in sakekasu, which are the leftover bits from making sake, which are fermented. And then when you leave them, they turn into pickled products. This is a very traditional way to do it. So you can put the vegetables in sakekasu, and then eventually it turns into, you know, something like this. Various kinds of pickles. This is a long sea urchin that's been pickled. I never thought that sea urchins could look like that. I thought they were little round spiky things. So as it would be a little difficult to eat the pickles outside of the shop, I decided to go for another item. But what's interesting about this is they've kept the skin on. So I think this would be an interesting thing to try. Let's go for this one. That is so interesting. It's kind of a reddish color. It's definitely got the skin on. Here we go. It tastes like your average chestnut, actually. It's soft and starchy and sweet and delicious. It's a great little sweet treat, I would say. I'm glad I gave that a try. Let's see what else we can find. This is a really lovely old looking shop as well. It says Handmade Shumai gyoza. This is a very popular meat in Japan to make stews and even curries with sometimes. So I've decided to order and purchase their shumai or shomai, but this is their famous item at this shop, so I've decided to try this. Let's start with this first. Itadakimasu. I just took one bite, but it just disappeared in my mouth. Like the meat just melted away. It was so juicy and so soft. It's like, you know, it's got a lot of umami. It's a little hint of like pepper or something like that. Because I also ordered one more thing, special item, which was apparently showcased in a drama on TV. This is the tuna cutlet. This is actually all tuna, which is very unique, I would say. And she gave us some sauce to put on it. So let's try that. Itadakimasu. I'm so confused because it doesn't even taste like tuna to me. It doesn't really have any like hint of tuna. It does have a little bit of a fishy aftertaste, but the bite is very firm and meaty with a little bit of a fishy aftertaste. So it's a red date. I'm gonna give it a try. It's really spongy in texture and very sweet. All right, I'm gonna start with the Natsume iri Chimaki, which are the red dates that I just tried. And chimaki, these like leaf wrapped and string tied traditional Japanese foods. This is a mochi rice, so it's gonna be much stickier than your normal rice. Itadakimasu. It's that mochi rice flavor, and it's been cooked in like, it feels like the dates have been stewed, so the sugars have seeped out a little bit. It's a little bit syrupy. Tastes like a lovely traditional dessert. Really good. Next up is my nikuman. This time though, it's not a nikuman or meat-filled steamed bun. It's a veggie-filled steamed bun called a Yasaiman. And all of this food is handmade at this shop. It's gonna take a bite. Here we go. That is so good. So there's some pork flavor, there's some steamed veggie flavor, and it's also got a really nice, like faint spicy kick to it. It's very peppery. I love this so much. Ooh, something smells smoky. It is smoky over here. And the reason is because it's a Yakitori shop. So let's see what they've got. Alrighty, well I've got my yakitori in this little paper bag here. Ooh, this is the tebasaki. These are the chicken wings, but I've never seen chicken wings on a skewer before. That's really neat. I've never had them on a skewer before either. Let's give it a try. Oh, these are so good. Oh my goodness. The skin is really smoky and crispy. And the meat is so tender and juicy. That is very good. And they've got a nice, tastes like a homemade sauce. It's a little hard to eat though because it's on a stick, but otherwise it's amazing. So this is the next one. It is, I believe, chicken thigh with a little bit of green onion on the bottom. This is a very common combination. Let's take a bite. Very firm but juicy meat. I like that. Well, I have just walked the length of Sunamachi Ginza, and it was such a relaxing stroll with the music playing in the background. My biggest takeaway from this experience today is that I got to experience traditional Tokyo culture, which is the Shitamachi culture. And what's so surprising to me is that it's actually very warm, not physically warm, but it feels warm because the people are really warm. And that's not the major impression that you would get of most of Tokyo. People are usually really busy. They don't have time to chat with you. But in this area, like the shopkeepers are all at the shop fronts. They're very friendly and usually quite eager to talk to you. They'll call in customers. It feels like what Tokyo used to be many, many years ago when Tokyo was a much smaller town. So I think this is a really lovely place to experience that. And if you guys would like to see what a traditional Tokyo culture or Shitamachi culture is like, this is the place to come. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my exploration of Shitamachi Ginza, and I'm gonna keep strolling. So I'll see you guys in the next video.